Okay, now we're back to the lesson. A lot of kids love this one because it sounds so important and so intellectual when you find the square root or square something. And some of you already know how to do that, and it's super simple, but it just sounds super complicated and super smart. So, squares and square roots. Whenever it says the area of a square is the product of the side by itself. Again, that sounds like something very official that you won't understand very easily by yourselves. But all it is we call this 3 squared. That just means 3 times itself. Okay? So in the area of a square, it's side times side, right? So it would be side squared, or 3 squared. They put to the power of 2. The power of 2 means you're doing 2 3s. If you were to do, can you see this? If you were to do the power of 3, that's called, let's see. That's not, is that cubed? I don't know. 3 to the power of 3 means you would do 3 times 3 times 3. Okay? 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. So 3 to the power of 3 would be 27. And then if you did 3 to the power of 4, one of those is 3 cubed, but I can't think of what it's called. I want to say it's this one, but for some reason I think it's that one. But whatever. We're not going to do all this year. You might learn it next year. I don't know for sure. 3 to the 4th power would be 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Multiply it 4 times. It's not adding, so it's not multiplication. It's not 3 times 4. It's 3 times itself to the 4th power. We call these exponential exponents. And this little 2 right here, this little 2 or this little 3 or this little 4 is called an exponent. And it just means you take the base number and you multiply it by itself. So if you do it, if there's an exponent of 2, you do it 1 time. 3 times 3, 2 3s. 3 3s, 4 3s. So this would be 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27, times 3, I don't know that one. Is that 81? So 3 times 3 times 3 would be 81. So 3 to the 4th power would be 81. And you can go on forever with that. Okay? We, though, don't get too nervous, are only going to do it squared. Very simple. Just itself times itself. Which is exactly what we were doing yesterday anyway, right? Where area of a square was side times side. So area equals 3 times 3. But you can also say area equals s, or side, squared. And it's the same thing as this. Okay, so let's look at our problems down here. Oh, and then we have what we call the square root. And that's kind of just the opposite. The opposite of multiplication is division. So square roots, instead of multiplying, you're dividing. And I'll go over this in a second. Let's look at squares first before I get you all confused. Some of you are like, I don't get this. I can hear you now. Emma, I hear you. You're saying, I don't get it. Don't say I don't get it. You'll get it. Watch. So easy. In a second, you're going to say, why was I saying I don't get it? Because it's so easy. Watch. Okay, 1 squared is 1 times 1. That is 2. You know what? I'm going to do these randomly because every year the kids go, oh, I know this. This is easy. Okay, so we're going to do these random so that you understand it a little better instead of seeing the pattern. Okay, 4 times itself. 4 times 4 is 16. 11 times itself. 11 times 11 is 121. Okay, 3 times itself, 3 squared is, 3 times 3 is 9. A lot of people will write 6 right there. It's not 3 plus 3. It's 3 times 3. 10 times itself, 10 times 10, 10 squared. They call this 10 squared. So that would be 100. Okay, 2 squared, 2 times 2 ends up being 4. So it's the same as adding just for that number. And it's actually, oh, I did that on here. You're probably confused. 1 times 1 is 1. My bad. The only one that works right for multiplication wise is 2. 1 times itself is 1. Maddie was sitting there going, Mrs. Meyer, you got that one wrong. Or Raymond, one of those two. Mrs. Meyer, that's not right. Mrs. Meyer, that's not right. And you probably didn't even hear any of the other, did you? Because you're too busy trying to help me here. That wasn't right. Well, now it's right. Okay, and good for you for figuring that out. 9 times itself. 9 times 9. 81. 5 times itself. 5 times 5. 25. 8 times itself. 8 times 8. 64. And I should be saying 6 squared, because that's what it's called. 6 squared. 6 times 6. 36. Is that off the screen? It is off the screen a little bit. Okay, back over here. 7 times 7. 7 squared is 49. And 12 squared is 12 times 12, 144. Piece of cake, right? Easy peasy. I have my dog here with me today. She always wants to come with me, and I decided to bring her with me, and she's completely bored, and she's starting to whine now, so you might hear her, Win, Winnie Win, say hi. Hello, everybody. I love math. I love math. I love to multiply my treats. Please help me multiply my treats. Yes. Oh, she's loving me. She's such a sweet puppy. Okay, well, she's a sweet puppy, but she's very bored and does not like this. Too bad. She's always begging to go, and I let her go, and now she sees it's nothing too exciting. All right, so here's the squares. Okay, 4 squared, 10 squared, 2 squared, okay? Then we come down here to what we call the square root. It's just the opposite. Up here, this is multiplication, right? Down here, this looks like a weird division sign, right? Reminds me of Maddie, because she said today, one of the questions today was, what would the world, the question of the day today was, and actually, so now you know I'm not on that day. I video a bunch of these in one day, and then I just spread them out. That way I don't have to be at school too much, because we're supposed to be staying at home. So now you know my secret. But today, you guys today are doing question of the day, what would the world be like if they were a bunch of you, cloned you. And I think Maddie was the only one that had answered so far, and she said, weird and dog loving. That was funny, Maddie. But you're not weird. Well, actually, you are weird, because everyone is weird. There is no such thing as normal. Nobody's normal. We're all different, right? We're all weird. I'm weird, and I'm proud of it. Okay, so, just made me think of her. But Maddie, you are a wonderful, beautiful 5th grader. We all love you. But this, you all have to admit to me, agree with me, this is a weird division sign, right? Okay, because it's not a division sign. It's called a square root. The square root of the number that you put underneath it, okay? And it's just the opposite of this. So if we did the square root of 100, we are going backwards, and we're finding out what times itself equals 100. 10 times itself equals 100. So 10 is the square root of 100. Do you see? Those two go together. So 10 squared is 100. The square root of 100 is what times itself equals 100? 10 times itself equals 100, so it's 10. Do you see? And I'm going to, these also would be in a pattern if we did these, so I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to hop around. 25, what times itself equals 25? 5 times 5. I need to look in my book. I think you're supposed to go like that. I'm not sure. When you write the square root, maybe, I don't know. I hope I have my book with me. Of course I don't. I left my book at home. I have most of my books at school, or I mean at home, to help you out when I'm at home. I can't remember now if you're supposed to write the square or if it's just 5. I'll get back with you on that one. Either way though, the answers are correct. So this is either 5 or 5 squared. Okay, so what times itself equals 16? 4 times 4 is 16. So 4 squared is 16. Okay, 9, square root of 9. 3 times 3 is 9, right? What times itself equals 4? 2 times 2 equals 4. Okay, back to this one. What times itself equals 1? Ones are always all ones. 1, right? Okay, 81. What times itself equals 81? 9. 9 times 9 is 81. What times itself equals 121? And yes, you can cheat and look up there. 11 times 11 is 181. Let's back up here. What times itself equals 49? 7 times itself. 7 times 7 is 49. Yeah, you'll figure this out here in a second. What times itself equals 36? 6 times itself equals 36. Okay? What times itself equals 144? 12. 12 times 12 is 144. And then way back on this one, 64. What times itself equals 64? 8 times 8 equals 64. So these are all the doubles. Okay? So this is what we call the square root of 100 is 10. Or 10 squared is 100. See how these are just opposites of each other, just like multiplication always is. So now you understand what the little square thing is. Okay? So now, let's go down to, or let's go to the back for a second. And you don't have to do, oh, here we go. Way down at the bottom. I'm looking for area. So I can show you this now. Aha, there's green ones. We will do the green ones. Then you have to come up with your own answers on the other. You know I love it. Okay, so on these two green ones, find the areas it says. Okay, so, hello, where'd you go? There you are. Okay, so for 15, for C, square, area of a square is side times side, or we can say area of a square is side squared. That's what I skipped over yesterday. Side squared, because side squared means side times side. So S, oops, not S, that's the side is 15 equals 15 squared. So then you have to know what is 15 times 15. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 plus 2 is 7. 1 plus 5 is 5. 1, 5, 12, 2. So area equals 225. What? I heard somebody say feet. Nope. It's square feet. I heard you, Michaela. She helped us get it right. 225 square feet. Okay? Same with this one. Or no? When it's a rectangle, can we do this? No, because all four sides are not the same. So this squared side only works for the area of a square. Okay? Because that's the only time we're doing side times side. This one you'll do side times side, but you'll do length times width. And this one's green, so you won't be doing that one. Okay, then go back to the other side of the page. And let me help you remember this, because I bet some of you will say, Mrs. Meyer, I didn't understand this section. Okay, they're kind of doing some different things here to test today to see if you got it. It says to write the percent. Remember, percent. Percent is based on per 100 cents that makes a whole dollar. The total for each is, what does that say? 10 days? Sorry, Winnie. Winnie's tripping me. The total for each is 10 days. Oh, okay. Okay, so out of 10 days, it rained 5 days. So 5 out of 10 would equal, let's see, they want the percent. Percent. 5 out of 10 is 1/2, and what's 1/2 of a dollar? That is 50%. Okay? 3 days, so 3 out of 10, you can just multiply these both times 10 to get it, or 10 times 10 is 100, because percent is based on 100, and 3 times 10 is 30. So 3 days would be 30%. Do you see? 6 days, again, 6 out of 10. Make this into 100. You can either do times 10 like we just did, or you can add a 0 to each one. That makes it even easier. That's 60 out of 100 is 60%. Do you see? Because it's always based on 100. Percent is based on 100. So in this case, since the denominator is 10, because they said it's based on 10 days, then you can change that easily into 100. Remember, you're also supposed to memorize the fractions, that 6/10 equals 60%, 4/10 equals 40%. Remember how you were supposed to memorize that? If you don't memorize it, then you have to have a strategy to be able to come up with it. Okay, the rest of it is the stuff you already know how to do. Enjoy your day.